The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, good. Yay. Hi, I'm Judy Banash. I'm storyteller here for Chicago Hidden City. And we're going to let Antera take us in first.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Antera. And tonight I was playing Spotter, Nosferatu. But for the first half, I will be playing Mr. Grumpy Pants himself, Hardestat.
Yeah, Hardestat, the Hardestat. All right, everybody. I am Mama McStabber, and I normally play Dr. Daylor Hammond of Clan Brujah, but tonight I'm playing a different Brujah. I am playing Karen Suadela, who is the Prince of Houston, Texas.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Levi R. I normally play Dr. Magnus Sanchez, but for this first half, I will be playing Prince Lawrence Meeks of Baton Rouge.
Hey everyone, I'm Glacier Tokai, and generally I play Bastion, but tonight I'm playing a different kindred from that very same line, actually. Vivian D'Alembert, the Prince of Florence.
And hi, I'm Maddox. Normally I play the Tremere Theo Smith, but right now I will be playing Mukhtar Bey, Prince of Cairo.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Evan Blade, and tonight I'm guest starring as Prince Karlak of the Brujah clan.
The princes have come in for this prince convention that Kevin decided let's hear what everyone's got to say. And these princes have been around for about a day or two. They're going to be here for weeks. However, today is like their first grand opening. They've done the festivities, and now it's really time to sit down to business. And when all of these princes come into this massive, it's a nice room. It would have been a ballroom. It's a nice big, wonderful table so everyone can sit around and be equal. And as they're all coming in, Jackson's, standing there very princely, but, understanding where he is at this table. And as all the princes come in, he does introduce the court that will be here. He also introduces Mark Lesk, who happens to be
Livesque.
Thank you. Livesque, because I can't say names. And he asks everyone to sit down, please, and letting the opening talks begin. And even though Mark's there, he's going to let the princes decide on what kind of idea they want to start talking about. There are several different topics on the table, from the Anarchs to the Spot to certain clans that want to come into the Camarilla, known as La Sombra. So there are several different topics, and he wants to know what everyone wants to talk about first. So I leave it to the cast to start talking.
Artistat's sitting there. He isn't saying anything. He's watching people. He wants to see who pisses him off first.
Karen has taken a seat next to Vivienne, actually. And she is just observing. Karen is a fairly pale-skinned Hispanic woman with jet black long hair tied into a tight ponytail at the nape of her neck, and the ponytail ends at her hips. She's wearing a sharp blue suit with a very nicely pressed and starched white-colored shirt.
Vivian, that's by the side of Karen, is wearing a very tight orange suit, very interestingly put neck piece, and her hair is tied into a very tight bun. She's different from me. She's actually blonde, and she's also scanning around the room. She's with a slight grin around, just imagining who's gonna give the first shot and how everything's going to explode, because this will be a fun time.
Meanwhile, Karen is not smiling. She has a very severe expression on her face, and she's just observing because she's waiting for the exact same thing to see who fires the first shot and gets their head bit off.
Probably directly to the other side of Vivian is Mukhtar Bey, and he is a man in his 40s-ish by his appearance, dark black hair, much more facial hair than what the player currently has access to. Very strong Turkish features, darker skin, someone who clearly has, for most of his life at the very least, spent some time in the sun as well. And he doesn't seem to be showing much emotion necessarily, but not in a sense of repression or holding back, just no need to feel or experience much of anything just yet. He seems to be taking in the room.
Yeah, I think Karlak will probably, take a seat as well, but just whichever's the nearest seat to him. But he's wearing a dark suit, well made, very expensive, crisp white shirt. Again, he's just observing to see how everyone behaves, really. He's used to this sort of function and the etiquette involved, and he really doesn't want to be the person to speak first.
Lawrence Meeks is a tall, gaunt Nosferatu who kind of seems to fade into the shadows even when he's not using obfuscate. And he's looking around, watching everyone. He's sitting next to Mukhtar Bey because, well, Bey seems like he's one of those easily manipulatable kind of people. And anyone who has the powers, enhanced senses up, which is a bad idea around Hardestat, but some people make bad decisions. Anyone who has that would hear just this faint whisper of flying insects in the room.
I will say,
Mosquitoes.
hopefully nobody does, because this has been declared Elysia.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bey, what do you think of this whole thing?
Predominantly, I would say I'm more confused than anything.
I imagine that's a natural state for you.
Not always. The only true reason I could accept the invitation out here was because my city seems to run itself at the moment.
Well, I'm sure that the soothsayer you have around helps with that.
His advice can be useful.
Has he given any advice on the La Sombra?
I am not certain I would be one to broach this topic, but as it has been brought up, And Mukhtar's voice does raise a little bit to get the attention of the rest of the princes. I have always, within my own city, welcomed any and all, so long as they could respect the rules. What I have seen and understand of the La Sombra is that they have their own rules. If they would be willing to integrate, I would see no reason to not welcome such into my domain. But for the rest of you, I am certain you would have your own shortcomings, misgivings, whichever way you wish to phrase the term.
Dear, we are not here to discuss our singular domains. We are
But
here to discuss the future of the Camarilla.
Indeed, but I would feel I would overstep if I were to give direct commentary on the Camarilla as a whole.
Well, I do opinion in the many years that the Camarilla has graced this planet. The La Sombra have been putting a lot of effort in putting themselves into the red list.
And Karen actually does laugh at that.
I do enjoy their new, if we could say that, tendencies to backstab their sect.
It's because they're failing.
They do enjoy a very good sense of never wanting to be with the losing end.
Rats will always try to abandon ship when it's sinking.
Right. Are they going to listen? Are they going to do what they're told? That'll give you your answer.
I don't have much opinion on that. Not too many of them have come into Houston. Of course, we're a little too close to Dallas at this point in time. Our biggest concern down where I am is the Second Inquisition.
We have that problem here.
More rats.
Indeed.
They have taken over Dallas. Kindred living there have either been eradicated or have left en masse. Quite a few of the refugees came to Houston.
That's why you all didn't come through O'Hare.
Say, Mr. Meeks, is that it? Lovely Prince of Baton Rouge.
Yes.
Your clan specifically does hold a few bad experiences in general. And I assume with the Second Inquisition, it only gets worse.
A number of my clan made bad decisions.
Indeed. What is your take on how to best approach them?
The Second Inquisition? Well, it's a very Nosferatu answer. Disappear. Don't get on their radar. Show them there is nothing in the area to worry about, and they will leave. Baton Rouge has no issue with the Second Inquisition because any troublemakers who might draw their attention either leave for other cities or are dealt with.
So, in a way, outlive them. They're only mortal at the end of the day.
It's what we did the first time. It's what we did with the Puritans. No reason it won't work again.
Historically, the First Inquisition had such grand success because so many sold each other out.
And you
So
think
long as-
that isn't happening in these nights, Bay?
How do you
No,
think
I-
these guys started?
I believe it is only beginning in these nights.
Oh, that brings us to another topic of discussion in this lovely reunion, but that's also related. The First Inquisition did bring up more than simply hunters. It was also the root cause of the First Anarch revolt, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
What about the Anarchs nowadays? Vivienne gives a slight look at Mark, but then continues.
Mark
If,
just is polite and looks back.
if we are to consider all problems that Camarilla is facing, and since the failed sect of the Sabbat seems to be vacating their cities,
The second you say Sabbat, hardest step was a plate at the nearest wall.
Vivienne looks at him. Would you like the word, Mr. Hudderston?
No, I just don't want you to use that fucking word.
I'm very sorry. Either way, that failed sect is catching strays. Is the Anarch movement going to do the same? Are they going to find that opportunity useful for their movement? What are they planning to do? And now she looks back at Mark.
Mark looks back as in, Mark actually gives Vivian a look of, do you want me to answer that question?
Oh, let the consul speak.
She nods.
Please.
He'll just slowly stand up and nod his head to Vivian. Actually, in these nights, we're working conjunction with the Camarilla against the Second Inquisition and hunters. We're the ones who actually held Maxwell at bay as he was turning around and trying to bring all of them into Chicago. We have areas around Wheaton and several other western suburbs that I wouldn't say exactly breeds, but educates future hunters. And we've been having eyes on them to make sure that whatever information they think they get is completely incorrect.
Maxwell, that was the one who had an abomination working alongside a former Camarilla hit squad of Ventru, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Vanguard. And he'll look to Karlak.
Vivienne will also look at Karlak. That's getting better.
Meeks is looking between
Karen is
Karlak
just
and
literally, her
Hardestat.
eyes are darting from one to the other to Meeks. She's looking at everybody that's speaking and not speaking and is like, let me read this shit.
So I can tell you that we are definitely working with a common enemy to make sure that we all live peaceful nights, or as peaceful as we can make them.
Do you feel like your friends in Berlin had the same idea?
That's friends in Berlin that I don't have any association or conversations with, much like your friends here.
Have the Lasombra approached the Anarchs with talks of joining?
No, not that I'm aware of.
What about the other half of them? There was the Lasombra. Prince Suadela understands what I'm going for immediately.
Yes, please.
They've turned
I'm in
independent.
southern Texas. I know very well.
From the ones that I know, they're independent and have been independent for quite some time. Couple up north actually runs a couple of medical facilities. Treats anyone. They do more humanitarian work than some humanitarians.
That is another point towards the La Sombra topic. If they are not allowed to join, they will find elsewhere to go.
Indeed.
Why, you rip it up by the roots.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Hudderstand?
Just end them.
The whole clan?
Sure.
Please enlighten us.
Oh, stop. And he throws another.
Well, you could start with Marcus Vitale. I hear he's in Baltimore.
Is he leadership?
That might be his hardest day off because he knows he can't go after Vitale.
That's because no one can go after Vitale.
He's doing this to the table.
Yeah, I bet he is.
He hasn't smashed it.
Because now Dara Bruja get a rise out of him. Yeah. However, I will say that so far we have not, but not many have migrated north from Mexico City. I know Fiorenza Savona has been sent there to take the city from the Sabat holdouts, and she is doing quite well from what I get reports on. Now, what I have noticed due to the evacuation from Dallas, the Anarchs have come to Houston and gone to San Antonio. And the ones that have come to Houston are actually working with us. They want to survive, just like we do. And I can't hold that against them.
Sadly, you American princes have such an unique perspective that we of the old world don't have. Up there in Florence, the problem with the Anarchs is generally about the ones in Berlin, the ones that are trying to go after Mithras. And the major problem that I face in my city is not being discussed in this current junction, so I'll not prolong it. However, I do pay certain mind to the Second Inquisition and some interest to the La Sombra. The La Sombra problem and the Second Inquisition may actually converge into a bigger problem if we are not careful. We already have a few struggling clans. The La Sombra have a problem with technology. Are we really about to accept a clan into the host of the Camarilla that can't go out amidst the humans? Nowadays, who doesn't have a cell phone?
They also suffer a problem with blending in with humans. Almost as bad as mine do, but we have the good sense to keep out of their sight.
As a counterpoint, the Second Inquisition is on track to encounter other hunter organizations. The one that comes to mind for most is the Society of Leopold.
Mm-hmm.
The La Sombra have a reputation with great influence in the church. Bringing them in as a counter to the Inquisition may not be ill-advised.
And if we refuse them, they may do something extreme.
So in a way, in the worst of arguments, you could simply say to keep an eye on them, you would bring them in.
least if they're
Oh, but you
close
can't
in
make it
turn, we
easy
can take
for
them
them.
out.
No, of course not.
Set whatever
I
requirements.
apologize, Prince Karlak. Please speak.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying, at least if we keep them close, we can take them out if we need to.
There is always that. However, as I said, it should not be easy. Anything given to a Lasombra easily is not appreciated by them. It should come at a steep cost.
What if we take our revered founder's words and turn that into the requirement? Rip
They have
out
to
the
bring their
roots.
elders for sacrifice.
Rip out the roots of the clan.
Now you're speaking my language. We reduce their numbers, and they get to play like they're safe.
Oh, they won't play like they're safe. They'll bide their time until they can take positions of power. Mark my words.
Oh, of course.
It's what they are.
It's what all of us are.
If you were a prince and you let the slumber in and you let your guard down, that's on you. You deserve to fucking die.
True.
Prince Jackson,
Yes.
what are your opinions on these topics? We've heard so little from you.
Oh, I've been enjoying this conversation, hearing all of your ideas and opinions.
Oh, I'm glad we could amuse you.
It's not an amusement, it's an education.
Oh, excellent. Chicago Prince has balls.
One of Loden's brood that actually is interested in learning.
Yeah, you can imagine what I've been doing for this past year.
Avoiding the answer questions, apparently.
No. It's more of trying to formulate the most.
Oh, just spit it out.
Just say it. Holy fuck.
Can you hold your horses for a fucking moment, please? And thank you.
He tosses
Christ.
whatever furniture is near him at you.
That's fine. He'll block it. Fortitude, bitch.
And
Be like-
Mukhtar silently is very thankful that he wasn't sitting next to Prince Jackson when that chair went flying.
Literally, at that, Karen literally leans over to Vivienne and says, and they talk about Bruja losing their shit.
Vivienne leans in and goes, I'm stirring the pot.
Jackson just blocks as if it was nothing. And he'll go, I did have a couple of Lasombra come in here. They were looking for refuge from the shit show that was down in Joliet. I had a couple of people. They weren't brought in officially, but they were more than willing to give me any information I could about their elders and snuffing out quite a few of them. I see the value in them. I see the value in what they can bring to the table. But making it easy for them? No. Making them bleed? Yes. But eventually, I have a feeling the tides will turn for all of us. And we might be in the same position. History always remembers the victor. And when the victor becomes the victim, what happens then?
So in a way, we could use them to get rid of all their elders.
Mm-hmm. Or at least the bulk of them.
Which
And the
the
ones
elders
that
would
can't.
probably be the greatest danger to us, really. But
And then after they prove their loyalty, say for a certain amount of time, and don't make it an extensive amount of time because they'll lose their fucking patience and rebel.
They've done it already.
Exactly. Then they could possibly have positions, recognition for their service.
I guess you have to think of what's the bigger threat, Lasombra or the Second Inquisition?
Absolutely the Second Inquisition. The humans have
Then-
technology now that goes well beyond what we can counter.
So bringing in the cannon fodder.
Considering that we're killing all the elders and all the
Hasn't that
living-
always been the Tower way?
Exactly. The problems are intertwined, of course. We cannot address one without thinking about the consequences on the other. So if the La Sombra are to be, let me guess, set free into any other direction, they will be causing problems. And the Second Inquisition only needs more information.
Right. And it doesn't matter what sect they get the information from, they get it on all of us.
So if we bring them in, we put a harness on them.
Speaking about information, she again looks at Mark. You said, Mr. Consul, that you and your anarchs of the region have been of great help against the Inquisition.
Not.
What exactly do the Inquisition have? What are their methods?
Get them while they're young. Belief is a big thing. Exploit their traumas and tragedies in childhood. Blame it on us. Make us the big bad monsters that they have to eradicate. Make it so that it's deep within their core so they become fanatics and they want to eliminate anything that wasn't them. And that's not just us. That is also the Guru, the Magi, and the Changelings. We are not just these special kids on the block.
He speaks true. They're hunting everything.
What is this I've heard about another faction of not Second Inquisition in the city? I don't know the name. It's still eluding me. There's another group of hunters, different.
What what Mr. Bay was talking about?
Mm,
The
The Order?
Society of Leopold.
no, it's another one.
Oh, yeah. No, that's homegrown down in Central Illinois. First Light.
How would you rate them as a threat?
From what? A mouse to Godzilla?
No,
Godzilla.
compared to our garden variety Second Inquisition.
Actually, I might have an answer for that. They're the
Fire.
ones that are conducing most of the European cleanings of cities.
Hmm.
They
You want to talk
act-
about the tech?
Yes. I've
So
put a
they're a little
few.
more specialized.
Indeed. I've put a little agent here and there to catch wind of what they did. None came back.
So cannon fodder La Sombra might not be an awful idea.
I mean, they got a whole black site down south from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, black site as in no one in, no one out. You don't go within at least several miles of that place. And I'm talking all of us.
Feel like we would have heard about that sort of tech.
Really? Think about it. How long have you guys all been around? When was your ear to the ground? When did you last send people down here in Illinois? When was the last time you guys turned around and got your people into different places?
You don't actually expect me to answer that, do you?
No, it's rhetorical. Because at the same time, we're doing the footwork. We're putting our lives out on that line to get that intel and that information.
Mm-hmm. So then my follow-up question is, we've talked about traitors.
Yeah.
Anyone? I would assume they're being helped.
That or we're being tortured alive or tortured in one way or another, or they've
Mhm.
got shit on their own that they could try and draw information from. Because once we're dead, we can't turn around and correct or do anything to what they find out. Not to mention, oh, that's right. There's another thing on the table we haven't talked about. Thin bloods. They talk too. And Mark just slowly sits down.
There is another aspect of things you all may not have considered. And that is that we're not the only group of supernaturals that has multiple sects, shall we say.
Mhm.
If you're looking for advanced technology, look at the Magi.
That is where I was going. Thank you.
To any who are really good at reading emotions, Mukhtar's doing his best not to double take at Hardestat, and the fact he just said thank you.
To a
Yeah.
Nosferatu, no less.
Uh-huh. But he's holding it together as best he can.
So in a way, we could unite against a single enemy, or at least get aid against one.
Kevin just smiles at Carly for a moment and goes, do you really think we can go all up against the technocracy? Because Judy can't say words, apparently.
No.
That'd be a fool's errand.
I am inexperienced with werewolves, although I've heard that they have a strong dislike of us.
Strong's putting it lightly.
How much aid could we even expect from them in that regard?
Depends on how much you're willing to give and what the target's looking at. Also depends on the werewolf.
Am I getting the right idea that we are thinking about multiple different cannon fathers? Because as far as I can tell, I don't think the werewolves, let's start with them. I don't think the werewolves are going to play by our rules. And the moment they don't really like our ideas, from cannon fodder, they can become betrayers.
Well, Jackson, you've have a truce with our locals, don't you?
I do. And if you saw what they did to my sire in the night of 1993, you know exactly what kind of power they've got. They ran my sire out right into the lake.
How did you arrange that?
Oh, simple. I asked them what they wanted.
What
You
did they
did.
want?
In a roundabout way, I did ask. But I did get what they wanted. And what they wanted was a totem. Something that was lost back, about 100 years ago.
And that
was
gave you a truce.
It was returned intact, and it gave me the truce I needed to make sure that the city was going to be secure and that the bloodshed was going to end. And it did. They actually helped us with Maxwell and the abomination.
That was indeed their problem as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Another point of consideration, leaning back towards the La Sombra. If they are brought in to the Camarilla, they can be the front runners in dealing with Second Inquisition targets, as I am certain, as much as they have captured many different kindred, I'm certain that their knowledge of the La Sombra is rather thin.
What makes you
Sombra
think
would
of
sooner,
that?
because many La Sombra would sooner die than ever be taken prisoner.
There is that, and technology doesn't work out well around them.
Hmm. Indeed. Vivian leans back a little, thinking.
They could definitely be a useful weapon against advanced technology.
In my time running Cairo, it being a rather diverse domain, the first question I have learned to ask when interacting with any new potential allies is, what exactly can they provide for me? And then, of course, do the best you can to acquire that. So if you are to bring the La Sombra in, utilize them. They'd be more than happy for the work.
And they want to survive, or at least be on the winning side.
So much so that they're willing to abandon their Cainite faith.
Well,
Who said they were abandoning it?
abandon.
Or interjecting the Church of Cain into the Camarilla.
Now that's an interesting prospect, isn't it? Are we allowing who's next after the Sombra?
The church of Set.
The Setherites. You would know a lot. You would know a lot about them, wouldn't you, Miss Bay?
You see percolating smoke coming out of Hardstat's ears.
And Muxar does give a bit of a reaction when someone says Setherites, but they are kept at arm's length by design. And to let them too deep into your midst is to invite nuisance and trouble. That is a clan I would strictly advise any here to ignore.
Look, I'm agnostic myself. I don't really give a single shit about vampires that want to believe in some fucking supreme vampire bullshit. I truly don't care, at least in Houston. They can believe whatever they want to believe as long as they aren't causing problems. The moment they cause problems, their head's on a pike.
That's why I like you.
No, you like me because I saved one of your Archon's asses. Anyway.
There is now one less plate.
Storyteller. There was some other topics that I think you mentioned, but the player can't pull them out of his. Thank you.
There's a stack of plates that are actually put right on the side of Hardestat, and the person walked away very, very quickly.
The area provided breaking plates for Hardestat.
Yes. Hey, it keeps him from hitting other people. Okay.
The Greek Isles down. The Greek Isles downtown say "Opa" every time they hear a smashed plate.
Opa.
Opa.
Papa Opa's in town.
So.
And Mr. Levesque, you had brought up Thin Bloods. I know a number of them associate with the Anarchs, at least they do around my area. Again, my policy is that generally, as long as people aren't causing problems, they're welcome. Can they follow the rules? They're welcome. Being that we have Granted, we don't have First Light in Dallas, but we have Second Inquisition. We have feds that are hunting, tied in with some church folks because Catholicism is big in Texas. Literally, where we are, we just all just want to survive. We have come off of years and years and years of fighting tooth and nail to hold our territory against Sabbat interlopers. And now that we have dealt with that, now we've got the humans to contend with.
And not just them. Do you know about the ash finders?
Oh, this is
What
a
is
shit.
that?
Go ahead.
We've discovered people, and yes, people are trying to sort things out. We found them mostly in Joliet. Thin bloods that like to, shall we say, and us use our ashes for their alchemy, and then turn around and make drugs out of it.
Really?
What is the
Uh-huh.
effect of these drugs?
I'll
So
tell
they
you
get
right
them
now,
to-
it makes me very angry.
There's a couple more stacks of plates next to Hardestat now. Well, for humans, they kind of get addicted and they start to get starved to actually drink blood. They try to seek us out.
Oh,
I won't say that's a fucking problem because if you don't realize that, you don't belong here.
Exactly.
And who's to say that they aren't doing it in your neck of the woods? They're just quiet about it.
what I'm getting from this is that we need to purge all thin bloods. Is that what you're advocating for?
No, I'm not advocating for purging all thin bloods because some thin bloods are actually very good people.
How can you
They can-
differentiate?
That's the problem.
How can you differentiate between Toreador?
Or Lasombra.
Or Venturo.
Or Bruja.
It must be taken as case by case, otherwise you would go mad.
I've known
That's rich coming from the NOS.
Mark's like, okay. Look, there's some really great thin bloods that, hey, can turn around and change your entire look permanently. From the color of your hair to the style of your hair to your face. They can put tattoos on you. They can do a whole bunch of things that none of us can because of their alchemy. They're actually great people and can help us. The only thing is we can't turn around and deviate between them, except if you use torture. But I try not to do that. So it's hard, and it's something you need to all start watching for, because when the moment your people start disappearing and Candy comes in, they're there.
So you'll be sharing information then before we leave and the convention is over.
We have been. I'll make sure I make pamphlets.
Mukhtar is going to take out a cell phone and looks like he's sending a quick text after all of that, and then he'll put it back away.
Vivian actually looks at Kevin. Well,
Kevin?
It seems like it's a problem in your domain that you dealt with or are dealing. What's
We are dealing. However, I'll put it to you this way. We are not only dealing with it, some have gone up to Milwaukee. So it's some of it is Prince Decker's problem. Some have gone over to Maxwell's area. And some have gone down to Indiana. From what I understand, it's a regional problem. And I'm dealing with my city only, because that's what matters.
True.
Did I hear right, Prince Jackson, from your sentencing just now, that you acknowledge Maxwell as ruler of that area?
No.
That's re-squatting.
Exactly.
Better to know where he is.
And I wouldn't acknowledge him as a prince, because the last time I checked, and if my history is not correct, he was the first prince of Chicago, and they decided to leave it to my sire. So therefore, he is forfeited his princedom or any chance to own this domain or claim it because of that.
Okay, first off, he didn't leave it to your sire. Your sire literally stole it from him, but that's neither here nor there. That's old news.
Let's not talk about stolen domains. She shots an eye to Karak.
Literally, Karen just laughs. Look, I know it's a thing. It's a thing. But
Well, so what I'm gathering here, and please allow me the joy of summarization, is that we have a ongoing thin blood population and a few bad apples that kill kindred and put them into little drugs.
the problem is, this can't be just a thin blood thing. This can't be. Based on what you're saying that it does, and it's obviously had regional distribution. Hello, I'm in Texas. Drugs are a thing. Literally, there's someone at the top. There has to be, and it's not a thin blood. I guarantee it. This reeks of Church of Set.
So, Jackson, who's at the top in Chicago?
I had a very great team go right through, and they almost found, from what I understand, the top and severed all the connections to the top. We haven't had that problem since. I do know that she might have moved because the distribution has shifted between Milwaukee, Indiana, and parts of St. Louis, from what I understand.
You said she.
So you have a name.
I assume that name will also be informed to all of us.
At the end of this conference, I will have all the information from all of the topics we have discussed in a nice summarized version for all of your information.
The
So that all of
pamphlet,
you-
yes.
Yeah. He just
But in the
gives Mark a look.
meantime, Prince Jackson, why don't you tell us this person at the top's name and clan?
Janet Miller. However, we were unable to identify her clan. We do know that she was a hippie in the 1960s. She was ill. She disappeared and then came back. From what I understand, she was known for giving out the feel-good drugs in the disco era, in the 80s, and in the 90s, following the yuppie scene of cocaine.
This is all of her human history, then.
I can't tell you when she was embraced because I don't know that.
At the best, barely in a silly.
But she managed to make a great, huge spread, regardless of her age. Sometimes age might just be a number, but it can also make you very underestimated. So people don't look for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the younger serve as a mask for the elder.
Yes, we can never assume she's the top of this Pathfinder pyramid.
And what do you know about the ones
Pyramid.
under? Pyramid, yeah. What kind of people were working for her?
From what I understand, it was two thin bloods and a Malkavian.
Vivienne gets a little hand up for one of her consorts The consort immediately starts writing something, and then Vivian lowers her hand. Very well. I will have a few agents taking some preventive look around my domain as soon as I get back. If I get any answer about this Miller, I will trade it.
That's great.
But Ashfinders, we already addressed the Sombra. We are currently addressing the Second Inquisition. Was there anything else?
Back to the Thin Bloods quickly. So is the answer here similar to the La Sombra answer? Bring them in, vet them, make them work for it. At least marginally, but some oversight.
How do you vet them?
How do you vet the La Sombra?
The Sombra are easy. Bring in their elder. Bring in what they've got.
Most of the Thin Bloods don't even know who made them.
Forgive me, Prince Meeks. I do not mean to speak ill of your clan. But unfortunately, much like your clan, Mr. Meeks, they're embraced and dumped because they didn't turn out to be a full kindred. Their sire didn't realize how low they were on the pecking pole. So we have a...
Now, I knew that the Ventru didn't have a good opinion of the Nosferatu, but I wasn't aware you thought us the same as the Gangrel to just make a child and abandon them.
We've had some issues from not only that, but Gangrel have been actually going away from our cities.
Well, with how you treated them, I'm not surprised. But it wasn't even 20 years ago, 30 years ago that Xavier died.
That was my sire and my predecessors, not me.
The simple truth is, though, that if you treat the Thin Bloods poorly, they will go to the Anarchs where they're treated with a modicum more respect.
Mark just nods.
Or get drawn into the sword of Cain and fed lies all
And
their
fed
own.
lies and used as fodder.
Or fed to someone else.
Or fed to someone else, yes.
Or they'll get pulled into the Second Inquisition or other hunter groups as daywalkers.
So I think the approach needs to be a little more gentle-handed with them.
What were you saying, Mr. Carla?
So that was agreeing with what was said. We need to be careful with them, but if we treat them poorly as such, they may even go and join the Inquisition. They could turn into fanatics. They're probably young enough and misguided enough to be tricked.
Indeed.
And there are more than the followers of Set and the Church of Cain that can recruit.
And who knows what else they can do. Because pissed off Thin Blood, from what I heard from some reports from that other sect we can't name.
Who's
there
speaking?
Are some. Kevin is.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I've heard reports that some have turned themselves into fireballs in the middle of a fight because that other sect weaponized them.
Sunlight bombs.
Yep.
It just keeps getting him better and better.
Well, we are not going to come to firm conclusions on anything tonight. That's why we have weeks.
Best to start getting out ideas and finding out where everyone sits.
Yeah.
This convention is going to end in a lot of minutia more than anything else.
As most do.
But if we don't sit down and talk about it, how are we to actually get any of our ideas out and understand?
No, agreed. Absolutely agreed. This is necessary. We've all been dealing with problems in our own domains and territories. And yes, the Europeans have been dealing with Berlin falling to anarchs, and we've been dealing with Second Inquisition where we are here, especially in America. It is kicked up now that the United States government's involved. And we all have problems. And of course, defections from a failed sect is an issue because it will affect all of us at some point.
The human equivalent of taking in refugees.
Indeed. You should know quite a bit about that, don't you, Bay?
Indeed.
How's that going for you?
Well, the Kaitif support each other as best they can, and they have support from within as well.
Very diplomatic.
When you are rejected by most others, it is nice to have somewhere to belong.
Convenient.
And that is also being said by someone who's very clearly not exactly on the higher thresholds of humanity. Like Prince Bay does not seem all that human to most.
I don't think anyone in here is above a 6, okay?
No. Fuck no. I'll say that as the player. Fuck no.
As a player, I think Meeks might have the highest humanity in the room, and he's at a 6.
Literally, Karen's at a 6.
Vivian's at a 6 as well, but low. Getting 5.
None of us are above a fucking 6.
No. This room, aside from maybe Mark and maybe Kevin, is mainly full of monsters.
Yeah.
I was about to say Jackson is probably above a 6. Mark may be above a 6.
They're probably looking at this pit of vipers like, fuck.
In
Old
V5,
vipers,
Kevin
too.
is 5. However, in 20th, he's between an 8 and a 7.
Yeah, I'd say he's closer to 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'd say
In this
7
story,
more
at
or
least.
less. Like, kind of like, yeah. Look, we've all have to deal with this. And I think if we all can come to at least a understanding or a somewhat satisfactory conclusion into handling some of these, it can be more of a universal model to at least assist. Because if we're going to have one thing, we're going to have another. And this is Jackson speaking. Because I know for a fact, the moment Lasambra dumps the other sect, he kind of looks over to Hardestat because he's not saying Sabat. If they are leaving that other sect and they go independent and they turn around and say, take part of your guys' city as their domain because that's what they want, then it turns into an us against them.
Yeah.
Where say they have several domains that are stately, as in like the church. Who knows what they've got going on in there? We can tap into those resources. We can tap into their church resources and their contacts. Think about it. What we can gain from them by intelligence, wealth, because this isn't running just on pipe dreams and Vitae. It's costing us money. And I know, God.
It is, to my understanding, that everything that you're saying right now is your experience within your own domain.
Not just my domain, but I've been watching other people. I've been watching other domains. Before I got into this seat, I traveled a bit. I know I'm young, but at the same time, I've seen some shit. And with all due respect with everyone here at this table, if we could turn around and come to conclusions, and I'm not saying this very night, we just started this. If we can at least try to find a way that we can open a door, open a wallet, open a contact. Because if the Inquisition is going to be coming for them, they're going to turn around and point them right to us. Because they're going to turn around and try to survive just as much as we are. So what do we do with that?
Viviani's hardest.
Speak.
Oh, Vivian just was eyeing hardest hat.
Okay.
Action.
He noticed.
For once, Karen's lost interest because Hardestat's been calm for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're witnessing several blue moon events. He said thank you. He's not getting mad all the time.
He's been calm, and it's like, this is weird.
He shouted yet? Damn.
No, he has a list of archons in his head, and he's trying to figure out who's going to go where when you guys all fuck up.
Thanks, Dad. But you see what I'm saying?
I do, but if you're wrong, well, you won't be around long enough to regret it.
If I'm wrong. Interesting choice of words. I'm not trying to be right either. I'm trying to be realistic and pragmatic.
Oh, for fuck's sake, stop mincing words.
I'm not.
I mean,
It
it also
actually-
helps you have a crack team.
It does. It helps me very much so. If you
At
guys
this
could
point, your
all...
phone buzzes.
What does his phone say?
I wouldn't check it right now.
That's valid.
Yeah.
He'll feel it and go, yeah. He'll just pat his pocket for a moment. I do have a crack team.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm thankful for every moment of them. If you guys can utilize and get such a team together, it would help you guys as well. Right connections, right kind of people. Actually, the right clans being put together. Because it's not just all one. It's all of us put together.
That is the principle of the Camarilla, isn't it?
It is. And I know there's a lot of name calling, backstabbing, and a whole bunch of other shit that we do.
We are what we are.
I know. I'm just being optimistic.
Well, I don't think that we have any conclusions to be taken tonight.
No, we don't. But this is a good start. And now I know I need a lot more dishes.
He's
It's
been
all-
patting one like a cat towards the edge of the table as you're talking.
It's
And when you say that, he definitely just
Knocks one over.
the whole stack.
Oh,
Greek
there
Town
it
just
is.
shouts-
There it is. And Karen says, there it is.
Greek Town just shouts out Opa. We don't know why. I don't expect any kind of resolution tonight. And you know what? That's fine. But I'm glad that we're actually starting to talk about this and bringing up topics, making sure plates are being destroyed. But that's not, it's all about trying to actually get to the heart of the matter. Is how do we all survive as a Camarilla?
That's the
I have a
point.
question for the usurper prince.
Now I'm interested.
Karen doesn't. She literally just goes stone faced at that.
Wow.
Vivian doesn't. She eyes out Karlak like,
Yeah.
Muhtar is keeping a calm face, but his eyes are definitely now bouncing between Karlak and.
Would that involve a
Mark
frenzy
just kind of
check?
watched Karlak, so Mark's like, "Ooh."
Sorry, Ebonblade, could you repeat that?
Would that involve a frenzy check?
Oh, probably.
Probably,
Being
yeah.
that he's extremely short-tempered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is. He's very short-tempered. Can't help
Yep.
this.
It's my flaw, unfortunately. What would I need to roll?
You roll your unspent willpower and 1/3 of your humanity rounded down.
Mm-hmm.
I should be okay at this point.
If it happens, it's a great way to end this meeting.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see.
Didn't even get the question out, and he's losing his shit.
Essentially,
Oh, that's okay. Hardest Dad's probably, ruined several dishes and a chair now, so we're fine.
Oh no, he's
So-
giddy. He wants to see what this is.
Yes, but it's hardest stat. He's
Oh,
allowed.
he's like locked in. He's like, yeah, that usurper prince. Mhm.
just checking. Unspent willpower and a third of the humanity, or less a third of the humanity.
It's rounded down.
Rounded down.
So if it's an odd number, you basically, if it's like a half number or whatever, you round it down.
So is that the unspent willpower and a third of the
Mhm.
humanity?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I was just checking.
Mark is just locked on to see this. I'm sorry, what?
Not like any of us have to deal with him if he frenzies. There's plenty of other people here that can hold
Oh,
him
yeah.
down.
Oh,
I'm sure
God.
there's a scourge around that can handle it.
No, we probably won't have to get out of our seats.
No.
Nope.
Valid.
Well, I don't know if it's been enough. 3 successes and 2 crits.
That's 4 successes.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. You
4,
you're-
5. So 5.
5.
5 successes.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you look a little heated around the collar, but you're
Yes.
able to keep your shit.
Ooh.
So, Mr. Meeks, you wish to ask something?
Yes, I was wondering, since we've been talking about discerning loyalties, I figured you would probably be the most experienced at the table in trying to do that.
And this is in reference to?
Oh, your domain, of course.
Storyteller, just quick. Is that sorted yet or not sorted?
You're the prince at the moment of Prague.
I mean, the other thing's in place.
You
So
don't
it's
know
still
that yet.
loose. The problem is still loose, would you say?
It is indeed still loose for
That's what I
you know.
wanted to check.
And it is not sorted.
Yes, about which issue? My domain?
Yes, the loyalty of those within your domain. After all, you didn't quite have normal ascent to the throne.
That's true. What would a normal ascent to the throne be?
Praxis.
Yeah.
And a lot of murder.
Where is that?
He looks wistful.
Really, only Lawrence hears this, but Mukhtar will just mutter, "I was asked."
Meeks just leans closer to Bay and just whispers back, "The best ones are."
Is this an issue for the Camarilla?
Well, 2 of our issues in current discussion, the Thin Bloods and the La Sombra, require us to
Vet
be
their
able to
loyalty.
discern loyalty. So,
That's true.
as the one with the most recent experience in doing that,
If we have what they want and they offer us something in return, if they're willing to pay a high price, we can see what we bring to the table.
fascinating answer. Thank you, Prince. And that's the first time that Meeks has actually referred to Karlak as Prince without the usurper.
Yes. He's acknowledged that, and he's calmed down a bit. You probably notice him calming down a little bit at that point as well.
Kevin looks over at Hardestat when Hardestat hums.
Less eventful than I was hoping.
Do you expect more?
He tosses a plate at you.
He actually grabs it and sets it down.
He tosses
Damn, that
one the
wasn't
opposite
satisfying.
direction at a wall. And then another one for good measure. Because fuck you, Prince Jackson.
These poor walls.
They're going to need
It's
repainted.
Hardestat the only person with plates. So there are no other plates. Does everyone else have a
One
single
should be
plate?
eating. No one should be
He's
eating.
taking plates from in front of other people at this point.
He
He
has
threw
a
a
stack
chair
of
at
plates
him.
stuffed to the side.
Earlier, he threw a
No,
chair.
he did.
pushed
He
the
dropped
person
them
out.
all off.
Yeah.
Probably Carl could flag the people bringing the plates and just get a stack himself if he wants one. But
I'm just
Hardestat
wondering if
has
there's
greatest
like a plate
attendance.
at each
Yeah.
point and then a
Mhm.
stack of plates next to Hardestat,
Mhm.
or several stacks.
Mhm.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
As this talk is going on, eventually, somebody, one of the pages comes into the room and puts a box about, say, yay big in front of Karlak and quietly leaves.
Meeks is just grinning.
Oh.
Vivienne seems very curious.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
Anything unusual about the box?
I'm sorry, what?
Anything unusual about the box?
No, it's a nice sized box. It's actually wrapped in red, kind of like the colors of Prague.
Hmm. Well, that's intriguing.
As the box is standing there, and the door opens, and you will see a man named Marcus coming in. He'll go, "Oh, sorry, I'm late. Oh, you're in my seat," as he points to Karlak. "Oh, you didn't open your present."
Hardestat's grinning like the fucking devil right
So
now.
this is a gift from yourself.
As Marcus of the clan Venture is standing there going, "I wouldn't say it's a gift from myself. It's a gift from my city, Prague."
Do I know you?
I certainly hope so. I've been in your court for over several years. And I thought, you know what? It's about time we had a new turn of leadership.
It's Meek's question suddenly very relevant.
That is true.
It appears that the usurper prince's methods of discerning loyalty are not as good as he thought.
Sure you don't want to open up that box?
He'll just knock the box to, well, he'll actually pick up the box and throw it against the wall.
As you do that, the box opens and there comes a couple of hands, 3 to be exact. And all those have a ring that you gave your lieutenants. And all of a sudden, they ash in front of you.
oh,
Oh,
And
My.
Marcus just looks at him and goes, "Versailles sends their regards."
Just double checking, I'm not familiar with the name. Is that the...
Oh,
That's
no,
Vasily,
that,
the former Toreador prince.
the usurped Prince of Prague.
Yes,
The-
that's okay. I'm not up to date with a lot of the names.
you're good. You're good. And, and he'll say Versailles sends their regards. And you remember that you're the one who beat Versailles into Torpor and took the city.
Yes.
Now you know
It's
it's
just-
started.
I was just starting to think Chicago was boring.
Is Karlak looking a bit hot under the collar yet again?
Yeah, probably.
I
Oh
would
boy.
say you might want to roll for frenzy.
And literally,
you've done-
Karen just leans over to Vivian and says, "That's why I say you have to have a lot of murder with Praxis."
I wasn't expecting a Praxis claim at this convention.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a praxis claim, more of a praxis
Usurp.
acknowledgement. Does a
Mukhtar-
usurper even hold status to contend praxis?
Mukhtar will motion over towards the shattered remains of a box that has now got 3 piles of ash amidst the rubble. I must admit, that is a rather classic example of letting people know.
Yes.
I haven't seen that in over 200 years now.
Mm.
Your domain's boring.
Karlak, you have not frenzied. You are holding
Which is good.
rather well.
This is sort of a truce place at the moment, isn't it, in Elysium?
It is.
Yeah, so that's a very good reason not to frenzy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Especially knowing it as a former Justicar, you're like, yep, let me keep my shit together.
Exactly.
I can punch a hole in a wall later.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, Prince Meeks, it does seem as if your question earlier was certainly valid. Looks like there's more issues than I've realised that need to be dealt with a bit quicker than I thought.
Go on a limb here and say that maybe those are out of your hands now.
You could say that.
Well, Prince Jackson, as the host, what happens when a prince who is invited has lost his domain?
Excellent question. I haven't really thought about that one because I didn't think this would have happened. However,
I
you know
fully
what?
expected some shenanigans from Anarchs, not from ourselves. And she looks to the fucking Ventru and fucking Karlak.
and Mark just gives the Karen this smile and a nod, being very gracious and kind. Fucking murderous bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, Mark is just glued onto Karlak because this is entertaining as a anarch, as well as that's my woman's former man. So I'm like, okay.
There's a lot of drama not being said that is still present on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to imagine that he should no longer be privy to our conversation, at the very least.
I don't know. Maybe he'll become a prince somewhere else. Do you think you can find another place, Mr. Karlak?
I'm sure there are other places he could try to usurp. He has the experience, after all.
Or maybe a traditional praxis next time, change it
No.
up.
It's so much more difficult, though.
He's
He
going to
seems
frenzy
the kind
again.
to take the easy way out.
As this meeting is coming to a close, at least for today, I believe I've matters outside this room to take care of. So please excuse me. And Prince Jackson, thank you for the invite.
Indeed, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
I shall walk out of the room.
And Marcus will sit down exactly where Karlak was sitting. As if he
Excellent
was
job, Marcus.
He nods. Of course, I've learned from the best.
Of course, Karen is clocking this shit. Meeks was involved. Hardestat was involved. Holy shit. This was an inside op. She has clocked all this shit.
We have rules.
But she
Marcus
doesn't say
roll.
anything. She's just looking like her eyes are really like she's looking like a fucking hawk
Mhm.
at everyone in the room. Like, okay, I see the games.
And he'll just say, I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry I was late. Travel was a little delayed.
Allow me to be the first to congratulate you on your praxis.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Prince Marcus.
Thank you.
Oh, now we must spend a few minutes to bring him up to speed on what we've discussed.
That's easy.
Not a problem.
La Sombra defecting from the failed sect. We cannot say which because the old man here decides he wants to throw a hissy fit. And then
Do we see another plate from that comment?
No,
I don't know. I feel like that comment from a Bruja might prompt a frenzy check from Hardestat.
Again.
Because she is like calm, cool, and collected. She
Is it
hasn't
one
lost
big
her shit
table?
once in this
Okay.
conversation.
Is it one big table or do we have like
No,
sectionals?
it's a long ass marble table.
Okay. No, he brings both of his hands down on the table.
Kevin's
See?
just like, that was full fucking marble.
Anyway.
So now it's pieces of a marble table.
Yeah, and he's chipped it. But yeah. See? And that's what see? But but anyway, so we're dealing with how if we're going to accept them, and if we are, we're going to have it at a cost of them basically bringing their elders for sacrifice for their entry. We also have thin bloods that we are discussing because
They're everywhere.
they're everywhere. And we have to kind of deal with them because if we don't, they will go to anarchs or the other sect that can't be named and be used against us. We're also talking about Second Inquisition concerns. And I know in Europe there are some concerns with anarch uprisings, such as in Berlin. So that's also on the table.
Okay.
Here in America, the anarchs have been, except for in LA, the anarchs have been more so working with us because we have the common concern of the Second Inquisition. So our perspectives are a little different.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your updates.
You're welcome.
Something I need. And while they continue on, as Carla goes out to try and find out what the fuck just happened, we're going to break.
We
see
will
you
be
guys in
back
10.
in tennis, y'all.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. We just had a great first half with all of our princes that are not now princes anymore. Hashtag Spotter's not Hardestat anymore. He won't have to yell or break any more plates.
But I'm still the prince.
Only in your dreams, my dear. We'd like to
Aw.
thank Evan Blade for being Karlak and having to gently whisk away because now he lost his city. Oops. So again, thank you so much, Evan Blade, for coming in. And we are actually going to find ourselves. Bastion, how are you watching your sire walking away from the Elysium?
Bastion is actually not anywhere near close. One thing Bastion has done around the city as a way of helping the security of the city and his own work is setting up a few outposts in which he can most easily watch over regions of the city with his sniper rifle. And tonight he's using his scope. He was watching the Elysia the whole night. And he just catched Vivienne walking out. And he's going to follow her with his scope. He's not aiming to shoot or anything. Into her car and then the direction the car goes. And as soon as Bastion loses track of them, Bastion is going to run to the next outpost. He has a lot of celerity. I imagine he can do that quite easily. And he is intending to actually speak with her in a place that is going to be secluded from everyone else.
When she gets in the car, she does go cross the river. And she doesn't go too far out from the loop. She actually goes into a hotel that's well known as the Pullman. And she'll go out of the car into the hotel. Hotel's rich in history. It was made in the late Victorian era. retouched back in the 1920s, I believe, 1920s, 30s. Some people say it's haunted. And she goes up and she heads towards her room, which is several floors up. She takes the stairs. No need to, get there early or quickly. It's just taking her time.
Bastion is actually going to wait, following her back a little distance. He doesn't want to engage her in a public space. But Bastion is really mostly ignoring any humans that come around, and if they try to interlope with him, he's going to dread gaze him away. He doesn't he doesn't care about subtlety at this moment.
That's fair. I mean, it does take her a little bit to get to her room, but most humans aren't even bothering with you. It's not that hard to see a man on a mission on his face, and they all know to stay the fuck away. So that is exactly what many have done. And when she goes up to her floor, she puts the card key in, she goes into her room.
Bastion is going to wait for her to enter, doing a count to 5. And he goes to the door and knocks. He's gonna knock 3 times in a cadence that's nothing special. He's gonna wait there.
It takes a moment or two before she opens up the door.
And to Bastion, she is a different person. She's wearing different clothes, a different hairstyle. But I imagine that to Vivienne, that will most likely be like a memoriam, because Bastion is wearing the exact same clothes she saw him last 90 years ago. Bastion is with the exact same haircut, the exact same everything. He hasn't changed a single detail.
It takes her a moment. Almost like she's not sure what she's seeing in front of her. And she'll just gently, actually softly, take her hand out, almost to try and touch him just right here, but it falls short of actually connecting with him. And she'll go, Kakara, is that you?
Vivienne?
It is?
Yes. I'm here.
Come in.
He enters.
She'll close the door and she'll actually give him a hug.
Bastion also hugs her. And she can feel that he is trembling.
And she will just gently rub his back softly like she used to. She's like, it's okay. I'm here.
I found you.
So you did.
I actually found you.
Are you okay?
I have never felt any better.
I have heard so much lately about some amazing toreador that I could only imagine was you.
You've heard of me?
Me? Gavin Jackson said he had a wonderful crackpot of individuals that worked together. And I thought, well, if there was only one person in the world that was as brilliant and so, talented, it had to be you.
Bastion breaks the hug. I've been looking for you.
Looking for
all
me?
These years. Yes.
Pourquoi?
He's taken aback and he goes, you left.
He did. And I'm sorry that I left. I was ashamed of what my line has done to you.
I've been hunting you. I've been looking around. I traveled the whole world. Went to Africa, I went to Asia, actually passed through Rome, just, and back here. Weren't you looking for me as well?
It was always my plan. Unfortunately, I'm horrible at times to execute things. I am so sorry. Truly. I thought once I could actually kill the stain on our line that I unfortunately inflicted on you, that I would actually be able to find you then. I got caught up in the chains of politics, and for that I am ever so sorry. Truly.
You see, normally Bastion would eat everything she's saying with no problem. But he had a talk recently. And so Bastion is actually going to try and use Scry the Soul.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's Resolve plus Auspice, right?
I believe so. I'm looking it up right now. Because I have to see if
Yeah, I think it's contested though.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
right now.
probably.
But she's actually a higher numbered gen than he is now.
She has no way of knowing that.
He's her elder now.
You're welcome.
You have a rouse check and it's intelligence and aspects, and I have to do composure and subterfuge.
All right. So the rouse check. Oh, I'm not hungrier. Okay. Okay, so that's intelligence plus my little bonus power. And let's go.
And I'm rolling the composed or the opposed roll.
I'm spending a willpower as well. I think Bastion would spend a willpower at this moment. All right. That's 6 successes.
That's 6. I got a 10.
Yeah.
So.
Even if I searched that in, I wouldn't get that.
Sorry, but
It's fine.
I'm going to say this. You already know she's a kid. You already know she's kindred. I will say this: she's not underneath any influence of blood sorcery or any other magic. She has not committed diablerie in the past year. But I will say that what you don't really get is her emotional state. You see she's happy to see you, but you also know she's just been in a meeting that's been going on all night.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been masking her feelings quite well.
Yeah, Bastion nods and goes, I'm sure. So many different terrible monsters up in the upper echelons of the Camarilla, right?
You're not wrong. Especially when they found out what our line was. And the moment they realized what we were descended from, you know I had to turn around to smash that out as quickly as possible. Because I never wanted you to be hunted.
Yeah, you never gave the authorization of me to say your name.
Because I didn't want you to be. If I could not do what I did, I never wished you to be ascended or attached to that line. I did everything so you could be safe, Kokura, and I have made you safe because of that.
No. Far from that.
Not really. They're gone.
I went to every single war zone I could find. I went to each and every combat. I killed thousands. And the off chance I would find trail, I went to cities. I went to different countries. I wasn't safe. How could I be?
Because you didn't say my name. They didn't know the line that we came from. And so the hunters did not hunt you. That is what I mean by being safe. To being associated with those horrible people, I didn't wish you to be burnt like so many others.
How long ago did you, your sire?
How long ago? I would say felt like just yesterday.
It was in the late 50s.
Somewhere around there. And then I had to pay back a boon. Unfortunately, that boon landed me with a city. Did my ghoul not? I sent a ghoul after you. But I thought you were in Brazil. How foolish of me to think that you were not still there. To bring you here, to bring you to my new city, of course. Why would I want you flying out in the world? You know, just because you couldn't find me wasn't meaning I was trying to find you, and unfortunately failing at every turn.
Can I make a wits and insight roll for that?
Absolutely.
I'm surging my wits.
You can, because I
Okay.
gotta now pull out shit too. Because you're doing a roll, I gotta do a roll. God damn it!
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's see. Okay, and that's a willpower also that I'll be spending.
Valid.
Okay, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on a crit.
And I have a 9 with a crit. So
Holy fuck.
you're looking at it from the standpoint of you want to believe her,
Yeah.
but there's that little inkling in your head going, you still remember Taylor's talk with you. So she's damn good at what she's saying. But I'm gonna
You hear Taylor's voice in your ear saying she is so full of shit.
I will allow that.
Fuck, that was even said in the actual conversation with them.
Yes.
I will allow you to have that Taylor's voice in your head, but as you're doing the wits and insight, she beat you with one crit. So
Bastion is actually going to get close to her when she says that she misses her. And he's going to say, I've missed you every day of the last night. I did not change. I did not want to change. I paraded around the world because I wanted you to see me, whenever you were, by any means necessary. I wanted you to remember. And that's why I wore the same thing. Why I am as I was.
forget your face. How can you say that? You're my child. How could I forget you at all?
Russian stops. There's a tear that rose in his eyes. Child,
Yes. Are you not?
what do you mean?
I brought you into this world, into my line, into me.
Vivian, do you remember how you embraced me?
I do.
How?
Junie doesn't remember. However, Vivian probably would at some point. So I'm going to gently say, here's the story, and just fill that in.
Okay. The way that Vivian embraced Bastion is actually she went to his marriage, and she seduced him in the marriage party and embraced him that same night.
Okay. It was, I will tell you this, I have not embraced since you. You have, there are no others. What I said was true.
Do you still love me?
How can I not? To bring you into the world, to be here with me in this never ending night.
Is that why? Is that all that you love me for?
What, to give you eternal life so that you will never grow old and you will never die?
He leans back. I don't know what to think anymore.
What did you think? Because of something that you heard or someone who said something about me? Really? You know to come to me, to talk to me, and here I am.
I don't know to come
Okay.
to you.
Please.
I don't know a single thing about you. You are not the same Vivienne you were back then. I am the same Bastion I was.
Things have changed and I have done a lot of things. You think that I don't want to be who I was 9 days ago?
I am the same person. I was running after you while you were having a life.
I wouldn't say hunting my sire and killing bullies was a life. Did I have a life as a prince? No. Because I'm ruling everything else, trying to keep people at bay, trying to keep the Sabot at bay, trying to keep the Annex out, trying to protect everyone but myself. What is the life of that?
And
hardly anything.
And you couldn't have sent more than a single goal?
Oh, I didn't say just one single goal. Once they came back, I then tried to send many to try and find you. I'm sorry, the last time I checked, you didn't have a tracker on you. And then when I tried to find you, you were gone. I had missed you by at least a couple days in, where was it, Morocco? I think back in the 80s or 90s. Tried going to Italy, the rest of France. Where was I? We went to Austria to see if you were there, or Germany or Belgium. We went down to Africa, around Egypt. That was not fun. You weren't there. I went throughout the entire place. I couldn't find you. I didn't even know you made it to America. It wasn't until I got this summons to come here for a prince's convention. I thought maybe you were here. And then when the way Jackson, he didn't tell us the names of his crackpot members of this elite squad, but I could only imagine that you were there.
Bastion gets up. need time.
Of course. I understand. I would never pressure you into something like this. We have been apart for so long. I can only imagine you are meeting me as a stranger. As you and I have not been together in almost 100 years.
I've run this scenario 1,000 times in my head. I'm still surprised. And with that, passion leaves.
She doesn't chase him. She understands he needs time. She just sighs. As Bastian leaves a hotel room, where do we find Taylor?
She is actually just getting home because she saw Lena off for joining the crew of students that have headed north to do the summer project.
As you come home, Mark is pacing in the living room. He has his tie off, the shirt coat undone, his wonderful white button down shirt like rolled up to his elbows, his shirt's out of his pants. He's just walking back and forth.
Taylor will walk up to him and intercept him.
And he will just pick you up and give you this tight hug if he can.
Before he can even do that, she's
Mhm.
just going to place her hands on his arms to stop him. And she's going to smile at him. And then she's going to kiss him.
And he gives you this really big dip kiss.
Please stop dipping. It's annoying.
That's fine. But he gives you this hug. It's just this hug of you're here.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And she breaks away and she's like, I am proud of you. Night one is done.
Something really, really big happened there.
Okay.
Box got delivered to Karlak. Oh, he almost lost his shit once because Meeks called him the usurper prince right to his face. Kind of impressed. But he didn't frenzy. This box got delivered to him. And then Marcus of Clan Ventru walked in saying
that, I know Marcus. He was a member of his court.
Said that he, as in Karlak, was in his seat.
Oh, shit.
Then he asked if he was going to open up the box, and Karlak went thump. And the box went right to the wall, smashed open, and 3 hands fell out with signet rings. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, those hands turned to ash. And then he said, Versailles gave their regards to Karlak.
But Meeks is prince. I mean, not Meeks. Marcus is prince.
Yes.
That fucking bastard.
I'm just reporting what happened. I'm still wrapping my head around it.
I made a deal with Vasily. He worked his way out of it by putting Marcus on the fucking throne. I'm going to kill Vasily. But anyway.
Look, after Karlak up and left, Marcus sat down at the table.
Yeah, I bet he did. Because Karlak no longer has Praxis of Prague.
This is true. And I'm like, oh shit. This is big. I kept my cool. There was slanders and shit. I answered the questions. Told him what we did. But to see what Karlak almost frenzied twice.
I bet he did. That was a significant blow to his ego.
I didn't say anything, didn't jump on that stuff. Didn't think it was appropriate.
His status in 5 minutes went to nothing
Mm-hmm.
because that happened in front of Hardestat.
Well, the funny and most, I think the weirdest thing is that Prince Meeks had asked him earlier, literally just minutes before this happened, about how do you test loyalty within Prague? How do you know how to separate those that are loyal to you and those that don't?
Did he?
Literally minutes before the package was delivered.
Oh, that cunning fucking Nos.
He does rule a whole state.
I knew
Yes,
he
he
was the
does.
most dangerous of all of them.
I am blown away. I mean, yes, I know the Cameron is backstabbing as fuck, but holy shit. And then Prince Karen was just like looking at Hardestat and Meeks like those two helped.
Oh, if she pegged that trust, they were involved. Absolutely. Karen, she's an opportunistic, murderous bitch, but she literally can suss out shit that you wouldn't believe.
Oh, the way that everyone was looking at the table, I'm not surprised. So I will say, whatever you told Jackson, he kept his cool.
Good.
Hardestat threw a chair at him. He just kind of blocked it. He also threw a plate at him and he caught it mid-throw. It was actually kind of impressive.
Hardestat
But he
is
didn't.
such a man-child.
Oh, I know. Toddlers are more. Toddlers can handle their anger more than Hardestat. But Hardestat had smashing plates left, right, and center. Jackson didn't lose his cool. Even when it got to be a little heated on him, kept his
Good.
cool on it.
Good.
So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is. And I'm proud of you.
Kind of looks down like he almost wants to say, oh, shucks, but at the same time, he realizes it and he nods. And he's like, I knew what I was there for. And I knew I had to make sure we were represented in a way that wasn't going to be the scapegoat.
A way that's respected.
And they kind of gave me a bit of shit for it. But that's fine.
They're going to. Especially the Europeans.
Not wrong. I kind of looked at kind of like, you got to do something.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Yeah. I'm not surprised if he's not leaving back for Prague today or tonight.
He can't go. If
Where
you
else
said
is he
those
gonna
three
go?
hands had signet rings, those were his lieutenants. He has nobody there now.
All I know is he said he had to go and sort out things and get.
Yeah, he's got to figure out where the fuck he's going. He has no home now. He has lost his city. He has lost his throne.
Who's the only person who could take him in now?
Yeah, we know.
There's two of them.
Who's the second? I can only think of one.
I'm not surprised he'd make a deal with Decker. Decker didn't come.
Oh, he didn't show?
Nope. Bitch. Probably got, when his Anubis guards got thrown out, he said, fuck it, I won't go, probably. So he can either go to Maxwell or he can go to Decker. I'll find out.
Either way is way too fucking close.
True. But at the same time, I wanted you to hear it from me. I wanted you to know exactly what I saw.
You know, Spire fucking K-Knights to just do what they're inclined to do. They go ham with it. And she goes and grabs a fucking drink.
He kind of got nods and goes, "You're not wrong." I thought, honestly, I thought it was going to be a shit show. Turned out to be rather quite boring. Because it kept throwing out ideas and stuff, and they were all worried about this, that, and the other thing. And Hardestat just threw plates at a wall.
Yes, because Hardestat's going to do whatever the fuck Hardestat wants to do. He doesn't give a shit what these princes come up with.
Yeah, I think he just did. I think he was just invited just because it's Hardestat. Might as well bring him to the party just for validity.
I suggested it.
I'm sorry, honey.
No, I did suggest it. I knew it would be a pain in the ass, but I suggested it to make Kevin have more influence with hosting this.
I mean,
I am using Hardestat's fucking status to help Kevin.
No, and Kevin did not let Hardestat get him upset. He did not get angry. He did not lose his shit.
Good.
I think it's excellent right now because they were giving him a little bit of shit.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. Neither of you lost your shit. Both of you are in precarious positions. Kevin is the youngest Ventru at that table and newest prince, except for Marcus. Now, Marcus is a knight, old prince, but he's got to prove himself to his elder.
Yeah.
And you have to prove yourself as a respectable consul.
Which I did. I may or may not have pushed a button of Hardestat's, but
oh, I'm sure everyone there pushed a button of Hardestat's. Okay,
yeah, true.
Dude is covered in buttons. All right,
I picked one red button. I just want to, but I didn't. I was polite.
Yeah, yeah.
No one got staked, at least.
Well, that's good. I am.
Slightly disappointed.
You know, it's funny.
Mm.
I had kind of hoped, because he wanted it so much, that he would have resolved Vasily and not had this happen.
And to be honest, from how Marcus talked about it tonight, they played him for a fool for however long Vasily was free.
Oh, absolutely.
And the moment that it was happening, and I'll tell you now, I bet you 10-1, Vasily is the one who killed his lieutenants.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I'd say.
And expect Vasily to have some titled position. He'll probably be seneschal. Because he'll want to be close to the top, but not the top, because that gets him out of the deal he made with me.
That's
because
valid.
he fucking hates Bruja.
And leave him to a venture to lead his city.
Mm-hmm.
Better rule from the shadows than rule from the top.
Yeah.
And if Marcus thinks he's safe,
Marcus is probably Hardestat's point.
Probably. The display that just happened tonight, I think for a fact, Karlach is broken. The way he walked out.
It is unfortunate.
I
have to go meet the guys.
He nods and goes, kind of actually reaches out for your hand for a moment. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just now have to expect my ex to become more of a problem.
What can I do to
Vasily
help?
fucked us both.
I know. What can I do to help?
Stay safe because he might target you.
I know. And I know you're a strong woman. I know you can protect yourself. But
He
how can I
won't.
help you?
I'll let you know. I got to think
Okay.
on it.
No, not a problem. I wanted you to know I'm here.
I know.
Okay.
But keep your cool during the convention. Don't let them strip you of your title or your status with them. Hold that shit tight.
After tonight, I am. Love you.
She'll give him a kiss and head out the door.
You won't dip her this time. And as you all are getting together over at the cell block, I'll let all of you guys go for it.
Mm.
From the look on,
Magnus?
just go ahead, Magnus.
Magnus is just kind of sitting there, kind of staring off into space. He looks as, even though Kindred can't really get exhausted, he looks exhausted.
Like mentally tired.
Yeah, like mentally he's exhausted.
Theo seems downright chipper in comparison.
I'm just watching the both of yous.
I am not the best, but I'd hazard a guess that we haven't all had the same experiences since we last spoke.
No.
Who wants to go first? Because I'll admit, I don't have any news from anything on my end.
Dear Clan's shindig, Spotter, take it away.
Well, thanks to the efforts of Gargoyles, Taylor, and the Gardens, 2 of the problems are off the table. Not without loss. But
Taylor walks in at that.
2.
Yeah. 3 of the Bahari and 7 of the Gargoyles fell. Magnus, thank you so much for your work, helping who you could. Even one of them got a lucky shot on me. But I'm better.
At least we know more for next time. I mean, we did know they were dangerous, but we don't run into them very often.
I did deliver the mass to Edith.
Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry you got hurt.
It's all right.
Wouldn't want anybody else.
It happens. I fully expected it.
But still leaves one. Haven't found anything. Thimble did have the idea. She noticed a pattern in their traveling. It was a zigzag. Weird. Because Chicago proper isn't a zigzag.
Mm-hmm.
It's laid out. It's a regular old city. But I remembered the last time they were awake, Chicago really wasn't Chicago. They were using sewers that they remembered, which are far older than the ones that we use now.
Did Chicago even have sewers back then?
It did. They were connected with Milwaukee. Yeah, it's...
Do you think that's where the last one's hiding?
Yeah. I think it's the only thing they know. I think that's why they stuck to the underground. It's because this crazy lights and tall
Edith was
buildings.
thinking that they were heading to some of the warrens in the Undercity. Oh, we also lost 2 of the discarded ones.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, in the battle. But
They-
those 2 bastards, they fought like
They are fucking dangerous.
they are fucking
Mhm.
fierce. Yeah, they are fierce.
At that Bastion arrives, he doesn't say a word. He just sits.
Clock you.
Bastion.
Taylor kind of looks at you and then looks away. She doesn't want to interrupt whatever you're going through.
So yeah, that's. We have to imagine that this one probably knows that the other 2 are off the board.
So these bastards were awake way more recently than I thought. I thought they'd been asleep for like a couple hundred years. Because I was here when they jacked up the city to install the first sewer system.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like literally went block by block, jacked everything up, put the sewers in, and then lowered everything back down.
Yeah, and
So
I might be
they're
using-
in that.
yeah, and it's probably possible.
Oh
it's
god,
like,
that's gonna be hell.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
say
'cause we
we
don't-
just flood it with thermite.
because we don't use them. We have our own
That-
sewers. We have our
That
own
won't be
warrens.
necessary.
Hmm?
We are talking about the Nick 2, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
The last one.
I was not in the battle. I was privy to some detail. And I'm trying to learn a thing or 2. I'll be able to survey the Undercities shortly.
Hmm.
In a way that will be safe.
Okay.
If and when you're ready to tell us.
Sure. I need a few more classes.
All right.
Yeah. It's not a easy thing for any of us, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm more relieved than anything else. I'd kept coming up against dead ends when investigating anything having to do with the Niktuku. The most I've learned is they don't just target Nosferatu. Several Thin Bloods have even gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The problem is that the ones that are in charge of them, the ones that embrace them, is just they're so fucking old they can't. They have to have kindred to drink,
To
stay
eat.
alive. So while they focus on Nosferatu, any snack does for them. But the question is, they usually there's stories that say that this killing is weird, at least to me. They're supposed to be snacks. They capture them and they bring them, but they're killing them. And I don't know why.
So you're saying they're not taking them to anywhere, they're just
They're wiping out pods, old, like just separate pods of Nos.
are they drinking them or are they just killing them? Because that's also
We have some ash. I mean,
Perhaps
we are
the sheriff could assist.
I mean, things have died down with the
Yeah.
Vanguard.
Yeah.
Might be
Perhaps the
worth the
sheriff
talk.
can assist.
Yeah.
Assist. Yeah.
We'll
I
talk
know
to,
some of the
Cedric.
Banu have abilities with remains.
It's a good idea. I'll talk to Cedric, see if I can get a chin wag with her.
I can discern cause of death and connection, but that's not my expertise.
Of course.
It could
Oh, please.
It could also be said that Rampant's death often is a fantastic catalyst for necromancy. They could be using the death as fuel for something else.
Or they're fanatics that think they have to destroy all of the Nos to
And so they're
do
only
their
eating
version of
others.
ascension.
That would make like 2 groups of fanatics in the city.
Oh, I'm sure there's at least a dozen.
I was about to say only 2.
America itself is built on the backs of fanaticism,
Absolutely, it is.
so the
Mhm.
kindred would reflect that.
Hmm.
Well, I'm in the particular mood to killing them. And so, if we find them, I have a few phosphorus bullets. They can make the work.
All right.
What about the gargoyles? Did they take any?
Yes, 7 of them fell.
Holy shit.
Indeed.
They were on the front lines.
They were frontline.
I
But
was with
still-
the gargoyles. This
But
week.
still, holy shit.
2 of the Niktuku killed 7 of them.
Mhm.
Yes.
As
And,
well
and 3
as-
Bahari and 2
Bahari.
discarded ones.
And 2 discarded ones. Right.
And got a few lucky hits on not just me, but a few others, because there was quite a few injured.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were fierce.
You don't take down someone of that low gen without losses.
Hmm. They were
worst.
fierce.
The real question I have now is, could the Nosferatu simply watch from Milwaukee, see a direction to see if something is coming into those old sewers from there, set up a checkpoint?
God, how many Nos are in Milwaukee? Maybe 5?
It's a good question. Because from whiskey, we learned that they did come from the north. Not necessarily from Milwaukee, but could have been from Toronto. It could have been Saskatchewan. But yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. I don't know. I hope there aren't more. That would really suck.
Better to verify.
Absolutely.
And if they are in Milwaukee, at what point do we shrug and say, well, that's Decker's problem?
Unless Decker is the problem.
Decker's always a problem. But
Yeah,
is
unless
he,
Decker's just letting them come through to wipe out people.
or maybe he's seeing if he can get them to join his Anubai?
Highly unlikely.
I only know little bits about the man, and from what I've heard, I'm unimpressed.
Yeah.
It's a fair assessment.
Speaking of princes, Mark told me about the convention tonight.
Oh,
Only the first night, and there's already rumors.
oh God.
Oh no, it's not rumors, it's facts.
What happened?
There was discussion on issues such as La Sombra, Thin Bloods, Anarchs, Second Inquisition, things like that. Just some opening discussions. They, of course, had to poke a little bit at Mark being an Anarch consul, but, you know, he kept his cool. Answered their questions, and that's all he did. And you know, so he kept his status for the night. Yay. I told him I was proud of him. And Kevin kept his cool. Even though some pokes were done at him. Hardestat threw furniture and plates at various times. It seems he really doesn't like it when people say Sabat.
I mean, they suck, but that seems like an overreaction.
Well, he is a big man, baby. Okay.
So if we commission a giant neon sign that says Sabat in bright, bold lettering,
he will
and
lose
sent it
his
to
shit.
That's a frenzy.
Yeah, that's a frenzy. Okay.
I'm known for being impish, but I think pissing off a founder of the Camarilla may be unwise.
Yeah. But yeah, so that basically was that. Karlak got his praxis usurped from him during tonight.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
How very sudden.
Like,
A Ventru from his court showed up and said that Karlak was in his seat.
That's great.
That is very Ventru.
After he had been, after Karlak had been presented with a gift, a box that Karlak didn't open, but when the Ventrue came in and said, "You're in my seat," he threw the box, and in it were 3 hands with signet rings that he had given to these people with these hands. And they were his lieutenants, and they turned to ash.
That takes some coordination.
Yeah.
Impressive.
The logistics.
Yeah. Definitely, the Nos Prince Meeks was involved. To some extent, probably very, very minor. Might have probably handled the delivery of the package. I know he deals with a lot of things, including logistics. So literally, that probably happened. And definitely it was Hardestat involved.
Of course. Ventrue in Europe, I mean.
Yeah. So Vasily basically probably took a lower position and let Marcus, the Ventrue, take the princedom. So Vasily not only screwed over Karlak tonight, he also screwed over me. Because I had made a deal with Vasily to get access to Prague once he took his princedom back. But he didn't take it back.
Jeez.
So he doesn't owe you anything.
So he doesn't owe me anything. Yeah.
Standard Camarilla shit.
Yeah. I'll give him the kindness of a head start because he's Toreador.
So at most a year then.
If that. Of course, he'll think he won and he won't even run. That's what's so funny.
With any luck, you'll find him directly in Prague.
Of course I will.
He'll most certainly take a position where he can be aware of everything without needing
Of course.
to deal
See, I
with
figure he
everything.
probably went for Seneschal. And with that, Taylor takes one of her magic cigarettes out and lights it up.
Bastion looks at that. I also do happen to have information about a prince that attended the convention.
Sure.
I went to talk with my sire.
Oh.
She is Vivienne d'Alembert, Prince of Florence.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to talk with her. Apparently, she sent ghoul squads to try and find me in Brazil, but they couldn't find me. And she was enthralled in the midst of the Camarilla politics, so much that she couldn't go herself. She really said that she never embraced anyone. And that for how that was important, I was her child. And I don't know what to do with that anymore.
Bastard, buddy. It does sort of sound like she's feeding you a line there.
I want to roll on that storyteller to see if I can suss that shit out.
Same.
Roll for hunch.
I'm going to roll for my instincts on that.
She doesn't have a wiki, does she? Out of curiosity?
No, she doesn't.
No.
No.
Some fucking how.
Spawner's thinking if you want to do
Rolling a
something, you
dice.
do it.
So roll a die. Okay. Let me answer.
I don't even have my character sheet open.
That's 10 with a double crit.
3.
And we're sussing out that has she or has she not sired?
Basically, if any of this is actually true and what are the lies. Taylor's well-traveled.
Oh, yeah. You have not heard of anyone by that being sired by his sire.
But she also told Bastion never to reveal her name, so that doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
From what you can take, nobody has ever claimed to being part of Helena's line or from a line of former leader Bali. So if she has sired, nobody's come out and said that. So that could possibly be true. You do know she is Prince of Florence.
Mm-hmm.
As for sending ghouls, that is a yes and a no. As in, she possibly had sent people to find him in Brazil and couldn't find him.
But she probably didn't worry about it after that.
Why worry about a child that's self-sufficient and knows how to handle himself? That could lay into your mind.
Yeah. So Taylor's going to be like, yeah, I can't say that in all my travels I've met anyone else that claimed to be descendant of her, but as she told you, Bastion, never to reveal her name, she may have told others. And I'm going to be very real. I think at most she might have sent one ghoul to Brazil and then didn't bother again. Why
If
would
she
she?
even did
You're
that.
self-sufficient. Your progeny. That's it.
Yeah. Well, serves me right.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
I think it's more a fact of lesson learned.
Yeah.
It's fair.
It does not serve you right. She conned you. She absolutely conned you. She took you away from everything because she was covetous. And she conned you.
I can't even bring myself to be mad.
I know. It's in the nature.
I really want to kill something at this moment.
Mm.
At the same time, I can understand. So,
But you didn't deserve it. I know more of you than she does, Bastion. And Taylor's looking you dead in the eyes. You did not deserve it.
I will take some time and consider everything. He kind of looks down at his t-shirt. Probably throw this thing off. This a 90-year-old piece of clothing.
Surprised it survived that long.
Theo reaches into his doctor's bag and hands Bastion a perfectly folded extra version of the shirt he's wearing.
He looks at that.
Oh, nice. Now you could be a doctor too.
Spotter, I will throw you out a window.
Taylor actually
I'll
puts
be
a
able to
hand
fly.
on Bastion's shoulder and says, the amount of care that you give to yourself, to things that you keep close to you, to people you keep close to you,
Mm-hmm.
you did not deserve what she did to you.
Yep.
I'll have to find something that resembles a person that's supposed to be me, but thank you, Taylor, and everyone.
Of course.
Talk to Bells. She's really good about that.
Yeah.
I will, and he kindly gives back Theo's t-shirt.
Theo just simply shrugs and puts it back in the doctor's bag. No feelings hurt.
I I missed living for 90 years because of that. I'm
Yep.
trying to find a way to do more things now. I lost apparently some kind of, he kind of looks between Spotter and Theo, some kind of internal joke.
Oh, yes, Theo Sire is here. Probably the best Tremere ever. Sorry, Theo. But literally, he's a drunken Irish Tremere.
Mhm.
It's hilarious.
Hmm.
I'm going to say now, Bastion, as they're talking, you will see this really bad poster of Doctor, in quotes, Theo Smith plastered on the wall, kind of
Yeah.
like taped onto it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Theo
And
is
Spotter-
specifically sitting
Oh.
so he can't see it.
And
Which
Spotter
means
holds up
he
his
is
hands.
sitting directly under it.
Yep. Look, as much as he hates it, he knows when to lean into the jokes.
Yes.
Mhm, mhm. But Spotter holds up his hands. Don't
Bastion
touch it.
keeps between the poster and Theo,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing. And literally, because Spotter was holding it, it put glitter all over him. He was the most sparkly nos I've ever seen.
Mhm. That was beautiful.
As much as he and I disagree philosophically, Seamus is fine to get along with and talk to.
I'm just thankful it wasn't glow in the dark glitter.
Mm.
Don't give him ideas.
I stay 1 week living amongst the gargoyles, and that's what happens.
Yes, but that's okay. He's still in the city, right, Theo?
Yes, he's going to be here at least for the length of the convention, as far as he explained.
Okay, so you'll get a
drove-
chance to meet him.
Hmm.
Oh, that would be lovely. I really
Yes.
need someone that can appreciate a good drink at this moment.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
believe he will eventually head back to Canada, but for now he's here.
He'll probably even wash his balls for it.
Yes, he was very, very clear that he washed his balls to
Yes.
meet us.
And
Mhm.
allow me to share a very minor secret. He showers nightly.
You don't?
I
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
But he puts on an air of casual acceptance of his environment, and that is not true. He is Tremere as much as he is himself.
Yes.
He has planned every night meticulously.
Mhm.
As friendly as my sire is, he's far more crafty.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that in the slightest.
At
Mhm.
least he's clean.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is
Excellent technique.
That is at the least you can say about him. He is
Mhm.
clean.
Look, some of the older kindred you can't even say that about. I'm 99% sure half the princes still think that, bathing will give them some kind of illness.
Ew.
Well, let's hope that it's none of the princes that are currently in the city.
Well, they certainly
I
all
was
got a
talking
bath.
about the ones in the city.
They certainly all got a bath last night because they did their excursion last night.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay, so if I am to set things on a scale, my sire's in one side. Who's in the other side? It's 8-ball or Seamus.
I'd say 8-ball. Seamus and I have butt heads quite a bit.
Okay, so we have 8-ball on the other side, and then the other side sire's in the middle. Okay. Could be worse.
It's a shame you all couldn't have met Aneska.
How were they?
She was great. She was great. She was a former nun, so she was sassy as fuck. Mhm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Most holy warriors are sassy as fuck. My grandsire was also a bit sassy too. Yeah, and and well, my great grandsire, she was known as the agitator of Prague, so she was a sassy bitch. But yeah.
Oh, Katerina.
Yeah.
I say this respectfully, Taylor. Perhaps it is a product of the line.
Yeah, it is. We have a type, I guess, but yeah.
Apparently mine does as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good God, I'm such an asshole.
There's diamonds in the rough in every cave you look.
And also, just because you were created a certain way doesn't mean you have to stay that way.
Yeah, I wasn't embraced for my talents or anything. I was just literally a travel guide.
Then you
Well then.
know what to do for any child or you embrace.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've done that before, though.
speaking about that, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a few phone calls.
Oh, are we getting the next generation of Bastion brought into the city now too?
A few of them are dead, but sure.
The ones that you can call on then.
I'm sure I could make a Nekata deal something, but yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, perhaps I got what? 4?
My goodness, you've been fruitful.
Jeez, I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of it.
I've known rabbits less prolific.
I mean, I have one I've adopted, but
If I'm talking about adoptions, the number jumps to 12.
oh my God.
The only one I adopted is because my sire is absolutely unsuited to being a sire.
Yeah, she is.
Oh,
Mario.
if you all would like some gossip, and he turns and actually gives Bastion like acknowledging nod from the previous comment. Ironically, there's a strong chance I will have 4 childers soon as well.
Oh,
Jeez.
Just getting it all done at once, huh,
Yeah,
Theo?
seriously.
My revenants have earned their reward, long overdue.
But the
Well, that
fourth,
makes you better
That's-
than 90% of Tremere.
So I've heard. And Theo will turn and lock eyes with Taylor on her comment. Yes. And the 4th. She does not know I've made this decision just yet. Or at least the offer. Her and I had to
Taylor
have
literally looks like she has no idea what you're implying.
And you don't know.
Know what?
I'll be damned. As it turns out, you are so excellent at pulling people into your mother's embrace that Lena went and did it to Emma.
Oh, shit. Well, she's getting her embrace when she gets back.
If you
Oh.
didn't, I would be appalled at your decision making.
all right, then I guess a few of my children aren't not getting into Chicago.
No, the more the merrier. It gives Misty a chance to choose who
You
she
have
wants to take
absolutely
as
no
the
right to say
code
anything,
remake.
Magnus. You're also one of them.
I literally, no, I'm sure Lena did the same way I do because we have a strict policy that we do not actively recruit. That is not how my garden operates.
Yeah. it was
Most
Mark.
Bahari gardens don't operate that way. We allow people to come to us. Something has happened in their existence that brings them to us.
Mhm.
Something that has broken down something in them where they see truth. And they come to the mother. And it's likely it was a conversation they had, and it just sparked an Emma.
Speaking with her on it, without going into finer personal details, even without a bond, apparently being Gould to me still felt quite reminiscent to her time with Newberry.
I'm sure it did.
I tried not to take it as an insult because I do my best to treat my ghouls fairly because they are my employees and they do good work.
Yeah. Can only
However-
imagine what that monster did.
Yeah.
She still had reservations about me. So I'm going to, of course, cut her loose with my blessing and an offer of embrace.
All right.
She will still be Tremere. She will still be an apprentice. She will still be with me in the chantry, so I feel no reason to not let her pursue her path.
That is generous of you, Theodore. It really is.
I also have my eye on a new prospect, so I think I'm not feeling much of a loss.
There we have it. There he is.
Yeah, there it is.
Premier.
I take my words back. It's not generous.
I have a replacement already.
Or perhaps you could simply take it as both and be less black and white.
Oh, true. True.
No.
All right. Well, with Karlak having no city now, he is likely, I don't know who would approach him first, because word of that is going to spread like fucking wildfire. He is likely going to become a local problem.
And what's that all of you said about stalkers?
Yeah. He'll either go to Maxwell, Mark even mentioned possibly Decker.
I mean,
I doubt he'd go to Decker.
I'll leave it.
That seems like a dead horse to tie yourself to.
Decker's priorities are vastly different from his as well.
Right.
And he kind of
but
already has the connection with Maxwell.
with Maxwell. So just want to make y'all aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't say for certain, but that's the likely outcome.
Going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Just
So,
keep your eyes and ears on the rumor mill. One of us will eventually hear something.
I did put a few, security things around the domain, but I'll be extra careful
appreciate it.
because that's not, the human that might know a little too much. That's a very effective elder that did manage to usurp a whole city for himself.
Yeah, and basically orchestrated the demise of my sire, grandsire, and great-grandsire.
So everyone around us might be targeted if we're.
Yeah,
So
he tried
business as
isolating me
usual.
before.
On that note, I was talking to Charlie. She used to be a cop. Because
I'm
the
sorry
feds
for
were-
her.
She was a Fed. No, she wasn't a Fed. She might have some insight into the Feds, how they work. Make sure, double check your havens. Make sure there's no new hidden entrances underneath or anything. Something like that. Yours is burnt. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But there's just really nothing. But she thought maybe they're getting into that way. That's how they got into Bastion so easily.
Taylor literally takes out her phone and texts Louisa to check.
Just a thought.
I would almost feel sorry for any agent that found their way into my haven.
The character, yeah.
And very soon, I highly doubt that my haven will be any place for intruders to want to be. I have plans. But I'll check all the same.
A lot of the buildings have connections.
Hopefully mine doesn't. I mean, I was the one that designed the frickin' place.
Sure.
But
yeah, but the old
we'll see.
places, yeah. No, it's just,
And it's not as if moving is a grand undertaking for me. If I truly need to relocate, I can.
I'm sleeping in gargoyle balls. That's fine.
That sounds rough.
It really isn't. They can make their skin not rock.
Everything I learn about them only seems to open more curiosity and questions.
Yeah, I hear they do cuddle piles.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
ignoring the surface, that feels like it would just be heavy in general. There's a lot of gargoyles down there.
It very much is.
Yeah. I imagine it's comforting.
Somewhat. Yes, I've been sleeping in the cuddle piles of gargoyles.
Yes, you have.
You slut, Bastion.
Not like that.
Also, you say that like we didn't already know that about him.
Yes, but no.
Just make sure to pick any gravel out of your pubes when you're done.
Yeah, you can do that when you're washing your balls.
Oh my God.
And you bring it back to my sire's catchphrase, of course.
I mean, he is Tremere, the gargoyle thing. You have to agree that has to have happened at least once.
No shame.
I can't speak for the rest of my clan, but not for me.
Oh my goodness. Well, now that the, ball jokes and dick jokes are just flying around, you gentlemen have a nice night. And Taylor's going to put out her cigarette and leave.
Take care, Dr. Taylor. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, real Dr. Taylor.
I really thought you were a real doctor.
I am a real No, I'm just going to frenzy if I talk about it any longer. Good evening, everyone. And he'll leave as well.
And as
So touching.
everyone is leaving for the night, I think this is a great time to call it. Thank you guys so much for coming in here. Thank you to our guest, Evan Blade. And I'm going to leave it over to Mama.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. You can hang out with us in the Discord after we are finished streaming. And that link is going up in chat now. Oh, thank you so much, Shanky, for doing that. So do join us on the Discord. That is where we hang out when we are streaming. It is also where we post up our casting calls. And right now there are 2 active casting calls for McStabber Studios streams. One is for a Vampire the Masquerade V20 game set in Chicago in 1994. Run by Shanky. So you'll need to be part of the Discord to apply for that. And there's also an open and ongoing casting call for Call of Cthulhu 7E, which Eben Blade played in today at 3 p.m. Eastern. But if you want to be a guest in Call of Cthulhu London Esoteric Society, which is currently set in 1908 London, you can apply to that by being a part of our Discord. Yeah, as Tis said earlier today, there's plenty of room for guests at the table. Come on and join. So literally, that's what we do there. And we also occasionally do Zoom hangouts when we're not streaming on Fridays and Saturdays. We did take off this Friday just to have a chill night at home with no Zoom hangout, but probably next week we will do one. You need to be part of our Discord community to hang out with us on Zoom when we do those. And if you would like to check out back episodes of this stream or any others that stream on our channels, please go to the link for YouTube in chat right now. The McStabber Studios YouTube link has over 5 years of World of Darkness and other TTRPG content for your perusal. And the London Esoteric Society YouTube has Tiss's content. So it has London Esoteric Society, the Call of Cthulhu 7E stream. It has Ishbel, her former D&D campaign that she ran here on this channel. And then, of course, other streams that she has done. So go give some love to both of those channels. And we have amazing friends that play games with us and also do things on their own channels. Junie Von Esch, what you got going on?
Making sure that I'm not muted because I don't want to pull Ben. I'm on the internet because I like to, but I am on my channel Strangling Yarn because in this world we have to do something just to be creative and not go mad or frenzy, kind of like what somebody almost tried to do twice in an Elysium. So I strangle yarn, and if I'm not here, then you will see me over at Ravenous Archons on Tuesdays or on Thursdays, revolving weeks. You'll see me here Wednesday nights up until Dark Ages is ended, or you'll see me here on Saturday nights just playing games with my friends here because they let me do it. Oh my God.
Yeah. So then we got Ravnos Archon, who runs loads of games on his own channel, but he also plays in games here. He was playing Theo's Sire last week as a guest. And he's in every Wednesday night World of Darkness splat that we run. He also runs Mage during the World of Darkness Wednesday splat. So yeah, he's a busy guy with us. But he also runs games on his own channel 2 to 3 nights a week. So you'll want to make sure you check him out there. They are games that are not D&D. He makes that point. Yeah. So do give him some love. And then we've got Mischievous Red. She does some streaming sometimes on Sunday afternoons when she has the energy to do it. As she says, make sure you're part of the Discord, because all our friends linked here in chat are also announced on our Discord when they go live. So you'll be able to see when she goes live if you're a part of our Discord. And then Rerolls, he does TTRPGs on his own stream. But right now he is on hiatus. However, I do expect that they will be returning at some point this year. So go give them a follow and check out what they're doing over there. And then DM Daddy RPG is where you will find Jen of Thieves. She played Sunday Booth in our Kansas City Domain Divided V5 game that Shanky ran and we just finished up. She's also played in my Monster of the Week and our Queen's Gambit games that ran on our channel. And she's a guest in our guest roster for this. We just got to figure out a role for her. Yeah, we just got to figure that out. We've already been talking about it in the background.
So much brainstorming.
Oh my God, so much. But yeah, so check out Jenna Thieves and her husband on DM Daddy RPG, where they run and play games together. Yep. And then merch. If you would like to get studio merch, you can do so at the Zazzle link in chat if Shanky does it. Thank you so much, Shanky. There you will find studio merch and campaign/chronicle associated merch there. You can check it out. We do have a few things that are rated adult due to swear words on the items, like our Camp Wish a Motherfucker Would Camp Counselor t-shirt. And our Cat's to-do list from our Kansas City Chronicle, where it had kick ass, check. Take names, check. Be a dragon, check, because she was a meatsy. And then lastly, Dracula, left unchecked. Yep, that was her to-do list during the Kansas City Chronicle. And of course, coming up, support. Would you like to support these amazing players at this table? You can do so by showing your biddies. Yep. If you give bits or donations, we distribute those here at McStabber Studios to our cast. And if you would like to support the channel itself, you can do so by subscribing here on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription a month. You might consider giving that to us. Or you can buy Mama a coffee at our coffee page. Yeah. That way Twitch doesn't get to be a horrible bastard pimp and take half. Okay? So, yeah. If you would like to financially support us, that is how you can do so. If you are unable to or do not wish to financially support us, the easiest and free way to do so is to go to YouTube, go to our McStabber Studios YouTube channel, go to the London Esoteric Society channel as well. Subscribe to both channels, and then as you watch content on those channels, make sure you hit the thumbs up, like, and also post a comment under the video that you're watching. That teaches the YouTube algorithm that our content is engaging, and it will push it higher in the search rankings and push it out on front pages for people that are watching TTRPG content. So please do that. That's a free way to support us, and we appreciate all that do that already, because we engage with comments there, y'all. So yep, it's a free, only takes a few minutes. Love the folks that do it. And coming up over the next week, we have Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Vampire the Masquerade, Dark Ages, the Transylvania Chronicles. It's literally we are wrapping up, y'all. We are showing down, helping out the Rock Lord, the first fucking gargoyle to try to rebel.
Ugh, so metal.
I know, right? We are helping him out. We're going to go take care of Nova Arpad and a fucking Tremere in the Dark Ages.
And also, fun fact, it was the Dark Ages game where the hands in a box trick originated for this channel.
Yes, it did, because my character sent a hand to a fucking Ventru.
Hey, girl, fuck
Like
you.
the Venture, remember.
The Venture, remember.
The Venture, remember, and then copy the good idea.
Something. How about that? They're not all idiot men.
It's close.
Just majority.
Just the majority. All right. So that's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, London Esoteric Society is back, y'all. They started back up today. They are back at 3 p.m. Eastern. So join the crew with Tis as they do all the sus as shit, y'all. Eben Blade was telling us a little bit about it during break, and I was like, oh my God, y'all are so going mad. But yes, that's Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. That's the point. But anyway.
Tentacles everywhere. Tentacles everywhere.
So join them at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And of course, Saturday is a double feature because we will be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday with the next session of Vampire the Masquerade, Chicago Hidden City. Yeah. And lastly, please take care of yourselves, y'all. I'm Mom McStabber, I'm a registered nurse, and I'm going to tell you that your mind and your body work hand in hand. So please take care of your mental well-being. It is very important that you do. If you are struggling with your mental health, please rely on your support network if you have one. If you do not, if you have a professional that you can contact to get assistance, please do so. Otherwise, reach out to a crisis support hotline. And I understand sometimes you'll be in crisis and it won't be right when you're watching an enjoyable stream. Okay, this will be enough of a distraction to kind of take you out of it briefly. But if you need help, right now in chat, there is a list of organizations you can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But if you are otherwise engaged outside of the US or watching on YouTube and you need help, please go to findahelpline.com. At that site, you can look up by your location because they cover over 140 countries, and you can find the crisis support resources available to you. Please utilize that if you are in crisis and need help. The people that staff those call centers, they literally want to help you. They want to talk you off that ledge. They want to give you resources and support that they can. Okay, that's what they want to do. Please utilize them. And also, as I said, head and body go together, y'all. They really do. As one goes, the other goes. Take care of your physical well-being. Please get vaccinated. It's real fucking important. And if you're responsible for minor children, please get your kids vaccinated too. Because not doing so is neglectful. That's malicious neglect. Because it doesn't just harm them, it harms everyone else that can't get vaccinated. So literally, please vaccinate yourself. And if you're responsible for kids, vaccinate your kids. Okay. And also take your meds, drink your water, get some sunshine when you can. If you're south of the equator, stay warm, please. I know it's going to be getting cold soon. So yeah, please stay warm. But yeah, for the rest of us up north of the equator, yeah, just try to stay cool. Make sure you wear your sunscreen, drink your water. Okay, it's real important to stay hydrated when it's like 100+ degrees Fahrenheit with the heat index. Yeah, real important.
It's also important to stay hydrated in the cold as well.
Yes, it is, because the air can get really dry. Yes, it is. Very important to stay hydrated all year round, y'all. And literally, fuck the fascists, y'all. Fuck the police, fuck ICE, fuck the fascists. If you enabled this shit by voting for it, even if you're not in the US and you voted for fascist bullshit, fuck you. If you voted for fascists, if you voted for minority or third parties that have no chance in hell and all they do is disrupt the fucking election, fuck you. And if you abstained, because here in America, in our presidential election, more people abstained than actually voted. More registered voters could not be bothered to give a fuck because they are privileged enough to not be affected, or at least they thought. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm vote shaming people. Fuck y'all. Go to hell. Go to hell. Literally, they have just basically stripped funding from basic fucking needs of social services to give ICE billions and to fund a tax cut for the rich. That's what they've done. It's straight up eugenics and it's straight up fascism, y'all. They are literally going to kill people that don't fit the party ideal through their policies. Mark my words. If you enabled that, fuck off. You get nothing here. For the rest of us, we got to get through this together. Please support each other. Don't let your neighbors go hungry. If you have it to share, share. If you can financially help your neighbors, please do so. And I mean neighbors, not just next door to you. I mean even online neighbors, because we have neighbors all over, y'all. And we have to look out for one another. Community support is going to be a big thing. Mutual aid is going to be a big thing. Kids are going to starve. They are going to be malnourished, and malnutrition affects generations of people. Okay, y'all? I'm a nurse. I know this shit. And for real, if you're going to protest, please be as safe as you can. Be as safe as you can. I know it's risky as fuck because the cops are out there inciting violence at fucking protests. The cops cause the fucking shit because fuck the cops. Know that you risk getting arrested. Know that you risk getting injured or even killed. Please be as safe as you can. And remember, every day is Shut the Fuck Up Friday. Don't give them nothing. Am I being detained? If not, am I free to go? If not, I want to speak to an attorney. That's all you give them. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the police and fuck ICE. And I want to see more fucking companies around this country putting up no ICE fucking signs. I want to see more fucking companies doing that and protecting their fucking workers. Because fuck the fascists. Seriously, we've got to get through this together if we're going to get to the other side of it. Fascism always loses, y'all. But much love, much sincerity. Y'all have a good night.